Yo, welcome back to week 7 of Double Premier League preview. It is the final week of the season. Most of the playoff spots are already locked. I think all of them are pretty much locked. There's just like a little bit of technicalities that could technically still happen, but for the most part, the playoff teams are locked, which is something we'll discuss in a bit. Uh, but yeah, lineup went up early this week, so we could get the video out sooner. I am joined by myself, obviously, Ray and Twister, possibly Keanu later, depending on whether he overcomes traffic.
Gridlock moment.
Yeah, it do be like that. Okay, so to start things off this week, um, we just need to take a look at the playoff picture. However, before we do that, we need to have a word from our sponsor, FEZANDIPITI Gaming. And in order to promote this sponsor, we must do a laddering session with it. Uh, so yeah, what are your thoughts
Ignore
on
that
Chen
last
Tao,
one.
Nostalgic Fire, plus Serendipity? What are your thoughts?
This team was so good that it ruined my first pick for DPL last week when I ran into Aragon randomly on ladder. And yeah,
Yep.
I didn't
This
respect the Fezandipiti. Now I have to respect the Fezandipiti because it ruined my life.
it's just that good, bro. It's just that good. Yeah. So here we have a very interesting team, to say the least. I will not spoil the sets with the team builder, but yeah, we have a very totally looking normal Thunderous here. A very normal Gouging Fire, a very normal Chen Tao, and of course, a very normal Peasantipity. So yes, Sister promised the people that we would have a 10-minute segment on the greatest Pokemon of all time. So clearly, that starts here. Uh, yeah,
Clearly, we won't have to restart the recording again because the first time definitely didn't get destroyed by the audio or anything.
yeah, definitely not. I definitely didn't have
Clearly,
the
we'll find a
volume
game
on.
in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, clearly, yeah, always. Yeah, there's not even anyone I can
Oh.
challenge in the DOU group. Oh my goodness.
Tight matchup. Let's go.
It do be like that.
I
Uh,
I mean, he did kind of leak into you anyways, so it don't matter no more. It, can you tell him I say hi?
All right, so here we have a very interesting matchup against Rain. Uh, and yeah, we're gonna start off with our very, very normal Thunderous Incarnate that definitely has Prankster as its ability. And also, I think for the content, not Pheasantipity, Chen Pao. You gotta save the best for last. As we see the Defiant proc on the Thunderous, uh, we get our attack boost, and now we get to be funny. Originally, this had Supercell Slam on it. However, unfortunately, I decided that was a little bit too unviable for my taste. So we'll switch in the Rillaboom here, get our +1 Grassy Seed defense, and now we are ready to click Acrobatics. As Fake Out goes into Thunderous, and I realize that I have no way to damage our Caledon, but it's fine. So we'll just click U-turn here into the Incineroar slot as Acrobatics comes out. The Terra Grass comes out for some reason. I don't know why. However, it crits the Thunderous, and now we die, and now I'm very upset. But we will go out into
Might
Gouging
get the
Fire
funny
here.
proc.
Um,
We might get the funny proc this game now that he's Terra Grass.
oh no. Oh no. Do they know? Do they know?
They know.
Hmm. How do I want to play this?
But you kind of committed to the gouging fire now, didn't you?
I did in fact commit to the Gouging Fire. This is quite bad. It'd be a slightly better position if I didn't get crit there, but I don't think it really matters. I am very much out of position here. However, we did do a decent chunk to the Incineroar. I'll click acrobatics. If it works, it works. I'm not anticipating that it will, but you know. Okay, Electroshot again. We are faster than the Alcalodon. Not that that helps us in any way, shape, or form. So I will go out into the Fezandipiti here and hope and pray that I live whatever comes out. Okay.
Dipperdo.
Let's see.
You see, if QSNS wins this game, then clearly he has the greatest team of all time to beat the greatest Pokemon of all time, and will not have to scrap his now leaked team. This is
Please live.
clearly what is about
Please
to
live.
happen.
Please live. Let's go. This is
It
the
is the
greatest Pokemon of
GOAT!
all time.
He did not know.
I will try to stall out rain here. Force at least something. Oh. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
oh no.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah!
This is the game of
Fezandipiti.
all time.
This is the
Dippity has
greatest game
traded
of all time.
positively. It is traded positively with the setup Arcalodon in rain.
It's the greatest Pokemon of all time. What am I throwing?
It was
Okay.
simply no one better.
We only use optimal teams on the Aragon 145 YouTube channel. I'll have you know. Oh fuck. That was slower. Just counted Tailwind.
Bro forgot that he could have just clicked fake out and let poison do the damage.
That
It
was a
wouldn't be a
throw.
great match without a little bit of throwing. Are you ready for the magic trick called Tailwind 2? The Electric Boogaloo featuring Pelipper the goat?
Rip.
Pelipper has died.
Why was it Damp
Tailwind
Rock?
3 is now on the field.
Wait, I'm pretty sure I built this team. Hold on.
Wait a
But
minute.
I built like the original version of this team.
Aragon just leaked his entire builder. Let's go!
Bro, what do I have to be afraid of? I'm not playing at anything.
The hidden heat.
I forgot
Fuck,
this
I
land
messed up.
is Rock Slide.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Okay. We take those.
Are we finally going to click fake out with our fake out Pokemon?
No. What makes you think that? Okay, that's pretty chover. Oh wait, that did no damage. Ah, fuck. That was the game. Okay, now there's no way to win. Unfortunate.
It's okay, we can say that we got hacked by a crit.
Most definitely.
Unironically, if that crit didn't happen, the Acro gets in for free, probably.
Yo? Ah,
Laboon?
no crit. Shit. Hmm. I think they will.
It'd be a shame if Sucker Punch just didn't win the game here. I have no idea what that roll is.
It does not kill. It probably doesn't even come anywhere near close enough. Okay. That's unfortunate.
It is okay.
Crit
We
right
did
now.
our best.
Unfortunate. All right, now that we've
We've had our detour.
had our a word from our sponsor, we'll get into the main content of the video. Don't worry, we will.
Definitely weren't stalling for Kiana to get here. And he is still
Definitely
not
not.
here.
This guy. All right.
100%. We're just doing our own thing.
Starting off with Loveridge Droughts first. Oh wait, first we gotta look at the playoffs. So the tournament have shaped up interestingly so far. Uh, I think Storms and Droughts are now all eliminated. Entering this last week here, Thieves are like pretty much all but eliminated. They need to get like very very lucky with differential in order to make playoffs this year. However, they did succeed in doing that last year, so it is not impossible. Um, but that's it. So we have Crater Makers, Spindus, Cold Crew, and Ducks. These four teams are
Made a
most
big
likely
shift.
going to be your playoff teams. Hmm. What was it like last week? Do you remember? I honestly wasn't paying attention to what the standings were.
Ducks were in first place last week, so it's been quite a
Ducks are
shift.
kind of ass. Low key, they might be bad. But we
Might
do
have
have,
thrown this week.
perchance, maybe losing all 3 SV slots isn't that good for your team. That's crazy. But
I should have loaded Gobalion, my bad.
skill issue. Spider Makers, Spindas, Cold Crew, Ducks. Those are likely your playoff teams. Again, um, there can be a little bit of a funny here, depending on how Ducks and Thieves do this week. But most likely we will be seeing these 4 teams in the playoffs here. Uh, but yeah, so this first week here does not matter at all. It's all for the memes. At first off, we have Lamuro versus Opelucid. Uh, 2 players we didn't really get to see the most of this year. Let me take a look at that. So Opelucid's record.
They freed Lem.
Yeah, where is Lem? Wait, it's not working. Okay.
It was using the page search instead of the spreadsheet search.
Let's
Dumb Google
go.
moment. They freed Lem,
Lamuro, 1 and
and
2.
he immediately
Opelucid
suffered
has
for it.
played 1 game. Damn, that's crazy.
I don't know this player.
Yeah, they were on Team India, I believe. They've looked pretty solid. However, just based on more experience and really haven't a whole lot to judge here, I will go with Lem. Uh, then again, we could be seeing some very interesting teams this week, as this does not matter to either team. What do you think here, sister?
Murrow ran multiple test games with Iron Bundle against me last week. Therefore, he is my GOAT.
Fair enough. Okay, Grandma's Cooking versus Yo Buddy. Jiba finally played SV, played pretty much every tier. Hasn't had the greatest season uh, this year. I think I'll lean Yo Buddy here. He's performed pretty solidly. Uh, Sitting at a nice 4-2 record here. Uh, I think just based on having a little bit more momentum here, I'll lean him here. What do you think?
Buddy's been stable in this tier for the most part, and Gma had a little world tour with all the tiers that they played.
Yeah.
So the safer pick is Yo Buddy in this case. And considering how low stakes this set is, I don't know if I want to put more thought into it than that right now.
Fair. All right. Idol versus Paraplegic, the grudge match of the week. Who do you have? Personally, I would always go for Idol, formerly Memoric. However, he has not played an old gen, and Paraplegic has played SV all tournament, so I will go with Paraplegic. Uh, if this was an old gen, I would go with Idol, but it is not an old gen. This guy is out of his league. This is a joke, like for legal reasons. Okay, this is a joke. But I am still leading Paraplegic here. He has definitely played a lot more SV than Idol has.
I watched a lot of the stuff that was said in the text channels, and I'm gonna be honest. Idol's got a lot of talk up his sleeve right now, but I want to see Paraplegic win this. It is not just a prediction. I want to see Paraplegic win this. Put him in his place.
Damn, that's crazy. Fair enough. All right, DUU. Chris versus Queen of Bean. Queen of Bean had a nice start last week, getting a win over QSNS in the worst tier of all time. Um, this has done solidly so far, currently sitting at 4-2. Uh, I think I'll go with Hiss. I think he's definitely played like a lot more DUU. Um, and honestly, he's shown a pretty good grasp of the metagame so far. However, Queen of Bean did look strong last week, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is wrong. But again, we could see some interesting team choices this week, depending on effort level, etc. Do you have anything to say here?
HYS has HYS has been consistent in this year, though that was a pretty big upset last week that Quab managed to pull off. I won't lie.
Fair. All right. Lax versus Bless. I think Lax has looked decent so far. Let's see. 1-3, not the greatest.
The losses. Ah, I see.
However,
A
Bless has
fool.
not played this tier at all. This is a close one. I think Sunrose will be glad to get a start here. I'll lean Sunrose, just because I've played him in SS before. I think he's pretty solid in that tier, and probably a little bit motivated here because it's his one chance to play this year. What do you think? It is SS. I don't know if you really have anything to say here.
I I do think that Sunrose will have a greater motivation factor here than Lax will, all things considered.
Fair,
So I'll lean into that just because of drive.
fair.
But if it weren't for that, I would say Lax.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yuichi versus Zoe. Finally, we see Yuichi played a tier where I know they have experience. Um, this is a close game. Um, hmm. I want to lean Yuichi here. They've looked really solid in SM in the past. I'm glad they're finally playing this tier, this DPL, because I don't know why they were being put in SV. Um, but Zoe's looked pretty solid as well. But I think it'll be good to see Yuichi and SM again, so I'll lean Yuichi here. What do you think, Christopher?
I don't have much experience with watching Yuichi, but I do have I have seen a lot of Zoa's games, and you'll have to impress me to put me again. So
Fair. All right. JRL versus Variation on a Theme. Variation on a Theme. Finally making his DPL debut. Um, Old Gen's connoisseur. Never actually played in the team tournament, or really much of anything for that matter. Versus JRL, a tough task for your first game here. Who actually won that Z versus JRL game? Let's see. Oh, JRL got the
good
win last
question.
week. Damn, impressive. I joined like halfway through the game and saw he like pulled up with like Mega Sableye stuff. Hold on, let's watch that
We
game.
should, yeah, I think we should open this because I didn't get to catch this. Was very busy that day, and by that day I mean this morning. Well, it was
All right,
busy
we
this
see
morning.
Sableye, Gastrodon, Chansey, Arcanine, Terraform, Lando T. Stall much?
You know, after having watched SMB load stall in this tier and lose, I respect the commitment at all.
Alright, gets the Wisp off early. The special Lando T. Seismic Toss. However, it's not Mega Evolved. Presumably they use Scrappy to hit Sableye with Seismic Toss here. Uh, Conkeldurr comes in.
I'm not the most familiar with Volcanion sets in this tier, but I don't think Overheat's particularly normal, is it?
It's not uncommon. Uh, it's some nice burst damage. Volcanion usually runs assault vest,
Maybe.
typically. Yeah.
With power there is an interesting choice. Like if you want a mid ground for switch in the back.
See the Skydraw come out. It's Calm Mind, which is very interesting. Recovers again. It's shaping up to be a long game. Lando T comes in again. Seismic Toss. Just doing a little bit. It's Calm Mind Snarl Sableye. Very
Kang
interesting.
can't Mega Evolve because it would lose Scrappy. It's so funny.
This might be the greatest interaction of all time. Okay, let's see. Sableye gets a little bit low, though. Clicks recover again.
I'm
Kangaskhan
surprised.
just seismic tossing away here.
I'm a little surprised that no Thunder Waves on the other slot have come out, considering the number of targets it's had.
Yeah. Ironhead gets another Will-O-Wisp off. Um, doing more damage with Wisp than it's doing with anything else. Seismic Toss comes out again. Damages the Kangaskhan with both Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs. Kangaskhan is getting very low here, and there's not really too much of any other way to damage the Sableye once it actually gets going. Kangaskhan finally Mega Evolves, clicks Seismic Toss into Lando T. Doesn't get the KO. Spikes comes down again. Now it's really just hazards going up. This looks pretty rough here. More
What
spikes. It's at
fun!
very interesting
What
team here. High quality
what
gameplay.
fun!
Sableye goes
It's
down.
like that is a
That's
big KO for the matchup. I won't lie.
yeah. How does JRL win this?
Well, Kang is basically dead, and Dio's not doing anything to the Chansey in the back. To get past this conk, nothing here can deal with Chansey, which I
Oh, that's
assume was
actually
the
true.
game plan.
That makes sense, yeah. Or Iron Barbs, Rocky Helmet. Mach Punch comes out, does a nice 20. And Blissey takes out the Cod Kilder. And like you said, there's really not too much else that damages it here. Um,
You have to KO the other slot and get like a burn or something.
Kangaskhan's gonna die to the hazards. Rocks go up, but I think it's a little bit too little
So
too late.
it's a little late for that.
Genocide comes in, takes a bunch from hazards, gets the +1, however it is burned. Uh, Psycho Boost comes out, U-turn comes out, gets the crit. Not sure if that mattered, but does KO. Thunderous
It
comes
dies to
in.
hazards on the reswitch.
Uh, yeah. Psycho Boost. Arcanine lives. Skydrop. Full para. Arcanine
Chansey,
dies. Is
Chansey
Chansey really
versus the
about?
world.
Oh man. So
Me when I
really
have
no
no
way to damage
recovery.
this one. I think you literally just let the Deoxys sit there, right? It's not doing anything.
It is a dead slot.
Now you just click soft boiled. And it's gonna die to the burn. Oh my goodness. Well, that's one way to win a Pokemon game. Yikes. This stall is crazy. So clearly,
All into a team with no recovery.
JRL is pretty competent in this tier. However, I do think their HNFP is pretty competent in this tier. I think this is a good matchup, actually. Uh, I will lean JRL just because he has a lot more tournament experience, but looking forward to this one regardless. All right, BW, Mizu versus Yuki. Mizu, don't know anything about her play in BW, so I will lean Yuki. There we go. High quality analysis. Okay. So I
Pretty much.
predicted Lamuro, Yobuddy, Paraplegic, Hiss, Bless, Huichi, JRL, Yuki. 1,
4-4.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 for it. All right. Spindas versus Crater Makers. What do you have? Okay. DOU. Jonas versus Robbie.
Jonas.
Jonas is looking really good right now, taking down two high-profile opponents in Bagel and Poppy Loco the last couple of weeks. Against Robbie, who has played mostly DPL, or no, has played mostly DUU. Uh, I still stand by my statement that I think Jonas has really good support right now and appears to be locked in. So I will go with Jonas here. However, this could be an interesting matchup um, between two people who mostly primarily play DTC. I'm not really sure how active Jonas has been lately, but they look to be in pretty good form here, so I will lean with them.
We on
Anything
the
to add there?
predictions desk, we may be a little biased towards Jonas, but Jonas is in fantastic form right now. There
Yep,
will be no
this is true.
predicting against him on my watch.
Based. All right. Amaranth versus Eternal Snowman. All right, they picked Amaranth to sack to ESM. ESM has looked basically unbeatable recently. Had a nice win against SMB and OSCT earlier. Uh, I don't think it's really much of a shocker that we're predicting ESM here, and I expect Schuster will say the same. So I will literally just skip him. All right, Zeal versus Val 16. Um, Zeal has looked
Find a
real
sand counter.
true.
Maybe take a game off.
All right, Zeal versus Val 16. Zeal is like 5-1 now. Has looked really, really solid this tour. Val 16 had a nice win against Bagel, but overall hasn't looked too scary or anything. Uh, so I will lean with Zeal here. He's looked very, very good in recent weeks.
Well, I beat one of these players and I lost to the other, so I think that'll speak to my prediction.
Fair enough. All right, DUU. Zern is DUU8. An indication that this week literally does not matter to the Spindas. Versus Shade Kirby. This is an interesting matchup. I've never seen Zern play this tier. I can't remember if
Jonas clearly
Shade
has.
Kirby actually played. Let's see. 3-1
Do
so
you think
far.
Zerna is some funny tech that they wanted to run for this tier?
It's possible. I do think Shade Kirby has like played a little bit of DUU this TPL. He did get a win earlier in the season. I will lean him here. This is an interesting matchup. If Zerd had literally played this tier at all before, I would probably have predicted him. But never seen him play it before, and I don't think this is not a high stakes game at all. So I'm not really expecting the highest level of prep from Zern's end. I'm expecting it's something mean worthy here. So I will lean with Shade Kirby
I'll,
here.
I will also lean in that direction because we saw last week what happened with Quab's matchup. That very good players in this tier are very susceptible to losing games to random stuff.
That's
That's
facts.
just how DUU is.
All right, SS Star versus Tenzai. Star looked pretty solid early on. I believe did get a win last week to improve to 4-2. Um, so pretty solid. However, Tenzai has like looked very, very good. Currently, I believe 5-1. Yeah, 5-1 between SV and SS. A little bit biased towards Tenzai here, but I will lean him here. Has looked very like on point this DPL, and when Tenzai's on point, there really isn't like anyone I would want to like predict against him. So I will lean Tenzai here.
Pretty much summing it up here. Not to knock against Star has been a pretty solid player throughout this, but I will be predicting Tenzai for the reasons stated by Aragon.
Yeah. All right. Umbri versus Ann. Now this is an interesting matchup. Umbri has looked excellent, really. 5-1 in SM, and
With a
hasn't played SM
loss.
as much. The one loss was, I believe, to Yoda, uh, who is 4-2. Yoda put up a good showing so far in SM, and 2-2. Um, could have been better. Let me see what she did in other tiers. 2-0 in SV, so 4-2 overall. Um, this is kind of a interesting one because they've tried various things in SM. They put Teammate in there a couple times. I think SM or in SM and is like really competent. This is a close matchup, but Umbri has like been so excellent. I really can't predict against her. So I'll lean Umbri here. Any thoughts?
I'm feeling Ann. I'm really feeling like Ann can pull one out here.
That's fair. Yeah.
Not sure. Not really sure why. I'm just feeling it.
If there's ever a week when it's like easier to beat Umbry, it's probably this week with the stakes a little bit lower. And obviously, Anne is someone who, like, over time has like very much impressed me with SM play, even if not particularly this tour. So this is a good matchup. I would urge people to pay attention to this one. All right, XY Jello versus Z. We have another fellow member of the kitchen here against Z, who has looked very good. Z has like the best record here in XY, I believe, tied with Laptops, who's put up a really excellent record as well. Jello is 2-0. This is very good news for the Spindas. Jello has looked very solid in this year with like very minimal experience. I think really this week this is probably his toughest challenge yet in this year against Z. Z is like really I would consider them to be the expert of XY. Hmm.
This
I'm gonna,
this
you
is
know
a
what?
rite of passage.
For the fans, I'm predicting Jello. Jello is just that guy this DPL. You know what? Maybe he lost that one game because he may or may not have saved the replay. That was like the start of his like villain arc, and he's not going to lose again. I'm predicting Jello.
Jello loads Jealous and Trick Room into Rain and wins by default.
Let's go. All right, BW Dad one versus Mishimoto. Uh, Mishimoto once again played BW here. Currently 2-2, respectable record. Uh, Dad one currently 2-4, not the greatest record.
Good wins for Mishimoto, I must say, in BW so far. Very
I think
impressive players.
I think I'm gonna lean Mishimoto just because, like, again, I think Mishimoto has more time to devote to prep than Dad one, who I know is like I think quite busy. So I will lean Mishimoto here. He's gotten some good wins this year.
He's
Just like
gotten
last
some
year,
good
putting
wins.
up like a pretty even record in a tier that can be like very difficult to do that. So I like this has been a very productive season. He also went 2-0 in SS, so he's currently 4-2. Um, I'm gonna lean him here, just again based on like I think like probably what the prep level will be.
Yeah, Dad won himself. Not having exactly a bad showing. Definitely playing well in the games, but not having a stable record here to show for it at this stage in the game. So we'll also be predicting for Mishimoto.
Fair. All right. I predicted Jonas, ESM, Zeal, Shade Kirby, Tenzai, Umbri, Jello, and Mishimoto. So I believe another 4-4 here. Yeah, this is
I
an
was a little
interesting
more
one.
lopsided.
Two very good teams here. Again, it doesn't really matter, so I'm really excited to see what people come up with. Might be a little bit more creative this week. Aside from the people who very much care about their records, who will most likely pull up with good stuff anyway. But should be a good week. All right, Thieves versus
This is
Storms.
big. If Thieves have to win to have a shot at playoffs here.
They have to destroy the Storms as well. However, I will not comment on my team, even though we are eliminated, even though it does not matter anymore. So yeah, take it away, sister.
Exotic versus Genesis is already a strangely tough one for me, just based off what I've seen from these two players. Storms hasn't had the greatest record, but that doesn't mean that they don't have the greatest players. Genesis being a member of a team, after all. But my gut, I feel like Exotic is going to be very committed, as are most of the thieves for this week, because this is like the vital point for them. They've started pulling back their record in DPL. They have a shot at making playoffs and potentially going all the way. So this would be the week where they should be the most motivated. So in an even matchup like this versus a team that's already out, I think Exotic's going to give it their all. Whereas that may not be true for Genesis.
Sure.
And that sentiment might apply to some of these other slots. I'll skip one for now because I kind of want to go back to Shima versus Gen 1, but go over Gasai is a lot easier for me to just say. I think just gonna load something solid, and that's exactly what they did last week. I expect the same thing this week. I don't have any reason to predict against Bagel after seeing him come back to form in this past week of the DPL. And Shima versus Gen 1. I put these players on fairly even ground, but Shima hasn't really impressed me that much this tour. Not to say that they've done bad, but Shima's record has been unfortunate at certain points in this tour. So this is one that I will say I feel would go more towards Gen 1 than Shima. Kind of speeding through these because there's no one else to bounce off of.
Yeah, that's fair. It's probably better to do that. Hopefully Keanu can get here soon so we can get 2 people for the last one. Let's see.
I do believe that Keanu is just completely gridlocked and we will not be seeing him tonight.
Unfortunate. Free my boy.
Free LA traffic.
So cool.
Neftrix versus Nidorus. So this might be a little toxic, but I will say that Nidorus kind of represents a not overpay slot in this tier at this point because this tier has just been so volatile and seems to have squandered some of the talents from the more experienced players here.
I'm just checking who was playing DU before because I don't think Neftrix has played. Oh, Big Pichu. Okay. I'm a little surprised it took them so long to slot in Neftrix here, but interesting. Yeah,
Did they slot him for something else, or is this his first week playing?
first week playing.
Hmm. Well, all things considered, Neftrix will probably be very eager to play, and I don't think Nef is a player that you can always count out. Yeah, and on his team back in Derby, saw some good wins with Neftrix back then, but it's been a while, and we don't know what Nef is really capable of now. It certainly doesn't seem like a tier that he'd be bad at, though. But all things said, I will be predicting Nito to win this matchup, even if motivational differences might be a little big between these two teams for this. Railgun versus Iceberg. That's kind of a banger in my eyes. I really like the standing on these two players in this tour so far. Railgun doing fantastic in SS. And Iceberg is 2-0 in this tier for now, as we can see. Did he play any other tiers?
He had to
This is
sub in one week
he's only
last
been.
minute. He had to sub in 1 week last minute in SV, so he got a loss there. But 2-0 in the games he actually prepped.
I think, and in the games that he actually prepped that I saw from Iceberg, he was playing very, very well in this tier. So I'm quite looking forward to this matchup. I do expect Railgun to pull out a win here, but I don't expect it to be easy at all, given the games that I've seen from Iceberg so far in this tour. Roven versus Charlotte. Pull up their records. Charlotte and SM and Croven and SM. Now, I've said multiple times for these two teams already that motivation will be a big difference, but betting against Croven is a dangerous game, and I don't know if I want to be a victim to that game, especially given the records that we see on the board already. Tree versus laptops. I have been a little notorious in these prediction desks for predicting laptops off vibes. But after what I saw Tree pull out last week, uh, after Mega Camera Up had a game, I believe that was Talking Tree.
Yeah, it was. It was. Just trying to find the game here.
One of the most based mons of all time. I can't bet against this guy anymore. Like, you pull up with this and the Mega camera up gets 4 KOs in the game. I'm not forgetting that anytime soon. This was a great game.
This was one of the best games in DPL, I think, so far. Just skip ahead to the action. Mecha Camera
There
comes in.
was it was maybe an opportunity for Single Thunder to pull this game back. There was also a bit of a miscalculation on one of the turns. That bringing Mega Camera up against the person whose name in Discord is Mega Camera Up Sweep is, for lack of a better term, one of the most base things I've ever seen in Mons.
That was certainly a play I've ever seen. Power into the levitate Brogzog.
Maybe it was heat proof. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
And then now we know.
Now we know. Yeah, this one really went off. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it did. But now Conkelder pulls one of the most base things ever. Not one
Dodges the heat
dodge.
wave.
And a miscalculation here, trying to get the guts boost with the Thunder Wave, but forgetting that Mach Punch is gonna go first. It got another dodge on the Heat Wave. So if that was a Drain Punch, Conkelder would have KO'd the camera up cleanly and had a guts boost for the rest of the game.
That's kind of funny.
And then these two try to win the game, but it's a little far gone with a Astrodon left out to deal with this Volcanion.
Yeah, Gasper, I'm matching up really well into both these mons here. Yeah, it was a good game. Let's skip to the end here, yeah.
Some
That just
great
leaves
mons.
BW, Fran versus Smudge. What's your take?
Fran versus Smudge. You might have to pull up the records. Completely even with different performances against different players in this tier. This is a real toss up. This tier is hard to predict. On some weeks you'll see some true outplays or outbuilds or just bad matchups, and other weeks you'll see a triple will-o-wisp miss costing games.
It's true. Any
So
prediction here?
all things considered equal in a tier that is so volatile, I feel in my heart that Fran is gonna get the one that they need.
Right, fair enough. All right, so now I get to disrespect your team. Let's go. It's time. All right.
I'm
Loud winner versus
boned.
Poppy Loco. Poppy Loco took his first loss last week. Loud winner had an interesting loss. Yeah, he told me some of the details about it. All I'll say is that was a moment of all time. Um, I will say Loud winner overall has looked really solid. So this is a very competitive game to me. I think these are two teams that have had a decent read on like the SV metagame lately. Just overall. However, Ducks did falter a little bit last week with like some of the meta calls here. Just as a team overall, I will lead with Loud winner here. just because I think the tier is changing so quickly, right? And I think the poor performance from the Ducks overall in SV last week could be like a sign of unfortunate games to come, so to speak, because we're getting close to playoffs here. And the way the Ducks have been succeeding so far has primarily been through like overperformance, I will say, of like the SV slots. So I think this is a very good game. This is one you want to pay attention to. But I think overall, like after last week, I'm a little bit hesitant to predict like for Ducks and SV because going 0-3 is not ideal. Had a bit of a tough loss just in general last week, so I will lean Loudwinner here. A little bit biased here for my friend, but this is a good one to pay attention to regardless. All right, XQ versus Shister. XQ has looked really, really good. Aside from the one game that he lost that didn't count, he has won every week. Um, this is a very funny game. These two are not going to bring your run of the mill teams here.
This man came to my forum page about 5 minutes after the game dropped with a time on Sunday.
Professional
He
jotter.
wants this fight.
Professional jotter. All right. I think I'm gonna lean XQ. XQ, like just the last few tours, has really like looked very dominant in my opinion. I'm really excited to see this game, but it's difficult for me to predict against XQ. I've predicted for him like pretty much every week here. So I will lean XQ here. All right, Entro versus Waffle. This is an interesting one. Two Italian players here. Let me check Waffle's record overall.
What was the last game he won? Didn't he get subbed in versus a certain someone?
Both players are 1-2. I think a little bit of an underperformance from both. Both are like very solid players. I think Waffle probably has more time to prep, so I will lean Waffle in this one, just because Entro, I'm not really. I don't know like how he stands on like how active he is, but I remember at the start of the season he was like, I want to sub, but now he's starting the last couple weeks, so I will lean Waffle because I'm just not sure how much time Entro is devoting to prep, but look forward to this one as well. All three SV games this week. That's the thing about the Ducks roster; they have a lot of close games every week. There's been some comments in DOU Court by a certain El Nana that I've predicted against Ducks every week, and for that I apologize. But I will say I've predicted a tie for the Ducks pretty much every week, so it's not like I'm predicting them to lose over and over. They just have a lot of games that just end up feeling pretty close to me, and that's the same way this week. Excited to see how it shakes out overall. All right, Rat Packer versus Relicanth Primal. Rat Packer here, sitting at a nice 4-2 record. Nice to see that after a bit of an underperformance last year at DPL against Relicanth Primal, who has he's also 4-2. This is a good game for DUU. I really don't know where to go in terms of DUU here. I don't think either of these players really want to play the tier. I'll go with Relicanth Primal because I think this game matters
Catch.
slightly more to the Ducks. And I think he's a little bit more likely to bring just the broken stuff. So I'll think Relicanth
Well, I
Primal
will
here.
say that both teams here, whoever wins this matchup is secured playoffs, and whoever loses might lose their playoff spot to the Thieves because of where we're put on the record sheet right now.
Yeah, Fuse would need
Both
like
teams want to win this.
they would need a very, very like big margin of victory here, but yeah, I forgot Cold Crew was third. It does make it more interesting, but I still stand by my prediction just because I think Rat Packer I think Relicanth Primal is like more likely to bring the broken, annoying coaching stuff than Rat Packer is. All right. SSDOU, Rob Jr. versus Madara. This is a good matchup. Madara hasn't has suffered a little bit of a downswing the last couple of weeks. However, has still done pretty solidly in this tier. 3-3. Rob Jr. 3-2, putting up a solid record. Uh, I think I still want to lean moderate here. I really do just think he's very good at this tier, despite like losing the last couple of weeks. Couple of tough losses to Tenzai and Star, but I really do think he has a very deep knowledge of this tier, so I will lean moderate here. All right, Yoda versus SMB. This is a highlight matchup of the week, in my opinion.
Look at SMB's record real quick.
2-2 in SM and 0-2 in XY. I don't
Not
really think
having
this
the greatest
generally
score.
overall reflects his actual performance. I think this is still a much definitely I still have to respect S&B in my prediction here, and it's still very difficult to predict against S&B. However, Yoda has looked very good. And generally just in SM, they haven't looked super strong, but I think with the playoffs coming up here, I think SMB is really gonna focus in here. I'm looking forward to this one, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say SMB starts to turn it around here. Obviously one of the greatest doubles players of all time, in terms of just records and trophies, etc. This is a good one, but I'm gonna lean SMB. Yoda has looked very good, so this is gonna be one you really want to pay attention to. All right, Single Thunder versus Voltix. Single Thunder has looked really solid in general this season. Let's see, 3-3 could definitely be a little bit better. Had a couple of tough losses the last couple of weeks. However, Voltix has had a little bit of a rough time in XY, and I think Single Thunder generally just has more experience, having played this tier for a little bit longer. So I'm gonna lead with Single Thunder here. All right, DeWabbleFet versus Actuarily. Now this might be heresy, but I think Act has looked very, very good in BW. Really, just the best in the pool, in my opinion. And DeWabbleFet has not had the greatest season. Um, I think I'm gonna, for that reason, just based on the records and the way I've seen the games shake out so far, I'm gonna lean with Act. I think Act is very difficult to beat in this tier right now. And although this is a very good matchup, very even in my opinion, I think just based on the way this season has shaken out for these two players, I think I have to lean with Act. Um, so now we have Loudwinner, XQ, Waffle, Relicamp, Ladera, SMB, and Act. Single Thunder. There you go. 5-3 Ducks. Are you happy, Enzo Dada? But really, this is a very close league. Again, like Sister said, it matters a lot to these two teams. These are two of the teams that I really think are towards the top of the pack as we head into the playoffs. Really, all the playoff teams are quite formidable, but these two in particular interest me just based on the way the rosters are constructed. So I'm excited to see how this plans out. So yeah, that should be it. Do a little bit of I guess, prediction of how things are going to shake out here, or look at the scenarios. So it does look like Spindas, Cold Crew, and Ducks are all tied with 8. Crater Makers are secured for playoffs. I'm not sure if the others are. If Spindas lose 0-8, they'll go down to 2 differential. And if Thieves win 8-0, they will go up to +2 differential. So technically, I don't think Spindas are quite secured, but they're basically guaranteed. But the one where it gets interesting is Cold Crew versus Ducks. If I still don't think it's very high likelihood. But if this game between these two ends in a blowout and Thieves can get a pretty big win over the Storms, Thieves can sneak in here. So odds are not great for the Thieves. However, there is still a chance. There's still a chance. There is still something that is being played for here. But most likely, barring like some crazy wins, and usually in DPL, with the exception of a certain week.
Last
that-
last week was a little harsh for us
this,
Ducks. I won't lie. And week 4, week
yeah,
4.
with the exception of like the 7-1 here, most games are pretty even, so it's very difficult to actually make up a lot of ground to differential in 1 week. However, it is still technically possible. Thieves have to really play it out here and just hope. Uh, but very likely it will be Crater Makers, Spindas, Cold Crew, and Ducks making playoffs. Um, of these 4 teams, I think the ones that probably would be my favorites to take it home would be Crater Makers. I think Crater Makers just have like a very, very solid team, just full of like high level players. Got a couple of VGC players for pretty cheap that are honestly pretty big steals. I think I would want to see them like modify their lineup a little bit. Team Man hasn't looked too great. Um, so they've had some underperforming slots, but overall the team as a whole has done really well. Like look at this. Um, 6 players going positive is really excellent. So I think
I do not
right
envy
now.
anyone who has to play ESM.
Oh yeah, that's really rough right now. I think right now my current favorite to win would be Critter Makers, but we'll have to see. So yeah, any last thoughts here, Schuster?
Leave 5 likes on the video, and I will make Aragon feature Okie Dokie in the next video.
Let's go. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Free Keanu. Yeah, comment Free Keanu. All right. All right. See ya.
Freaking out.